G Money. Miss Joyce, that's Donnell Rollins' mom.
Awesome.
And she is like, she's always uplifting all of us on Facebook, you know, making sure that she reaches back. You know, us Alexandria folks, she was grounded. Hey, Don Brown. Hi. We're going to start. It's going to be an interesting show. About the conversation that we have and the type of conversation that we have with our children to the point where they're able to talk to their peers and have decent conversations because of what we say as grown women to them or around them.
Around what they over here, yeah, it's very
what they over here, and
it's like secondhand smoking. I mean, people don't.
Right, it is. That's a good way of looking at it.
Real talk, and people just don't. They take it for granted, but you inhaling the smoke and you also inhaling the information. Your minds are not mature enough to know how to deliver it once you receive it.
Right.
I have my own things.
Super lobby dog. I should have mine. Let's stop.
Let's do it.
Get it.
Archie Beslow Radio Show. Let's figure it out on the Archie Beslow Radio Show. He cares, he shares, he knows. The journey of our youth is in our control. So tell your family and tell your friends that the word on the street is we all should listen in. So let's figure it out on the Archie Beslow Radio Show.
Well, good evening, and once again, thank you for supporting me and tuning into my radio show, the Archie Beslow Show, Let's Figure It Out. I hope you guys had your umbrellas up. It was unexpected rain, like flooding. I was on 295, and it was like 3 or 4 accidents that happened like right in front of me. And I'm like, what in the world? And I have a Beamer. And yeah, so my Beamer was like...
You weren't able to cut through that water?
Well, no, I started to pull my Beamer over to the side and just wait till everything... I said in all joking, it don't matter if I had a Pinto or a Yugo.
It don't matter, because I almost hydroplaned.
Exactly, yeah, and it's real dangerous, and I hope everybody was okay in those accidents. Well, I'm honored today to have in the studio Miss Lyric Hawkins. And before I let her introduce herself, you guys know that Archie has to speak on something. And I never know what I'm going to speak on. That's the beauty of having this show, because I like for stuff just to pop up. So let me see what I'm going to target. What's some of the hot topics in the news? What's going on other than 45th? What do they call him, the 45th president? 45?
Number 45.
Number 45. We can talk about him all day
Well, what
long.
about the young guy? I can't think of his name. That guy shot in his house by the officer. She said she thought she was in the wrong apartment, but actually they used to date.
Oh, see, I ain't... Okay.
It's a picture of them together, a group of friends.
Wow. So I didn't even know about that one. And let's talk. Well, wow.
Yeah.
And my listeners know that I get when I pause, it's like I'm gathering my thoughts, because that's pretty deep. Good. This whole thing with this violence, and also with some of the news, I guess the guy got locked up that he killed his girlfriend and he shot himself. It's just so much going on. How about the mom that ran over the cliff with the kids in the car?
I didn't hear about that one. That's crazy.
It's crazy. It's like it's so many things that are going on in our society. And I always say, we know news is not always good news,
right? But
sometimes you have to actually sit your kids down,
that conversation,
and have that conversation to let them know how valuable life is and how some of these people are thinking out here.
Right. Do you think it's mental illness, Archie?
I think it has a lot to do with mental illness. I do.
I
and
agree.
denial.
Depression.
The depression, being stubborn, not wanting to seek help. Not listening to people. There are a lot of people in our families that give good advice, but since the person is in your family, sometimes you don't want to listen. You feel me? And then that stress now becomes their stress because now they feel a certain way because they want to able to help, their people.
Exactly.
So what do we do? What do we do?
It's hard, and especially in our community, we don't educate our people enough to say, hey, it's okay to seek a therapist. It's okay to check yourself in to the hospital for a week, whether it's depression, whether it's a mental illness, whatever that thing is. We always think, because Big Mama said you sweep that under the rug, you don't tell anybody.
All that stuff has been embedded in us. Yeah, those past saying, I do a lot of talking to kids and families, and it's amazing to me what you just said, how kids are afraid to talk to their parents. Even spouses are afraid to talk to their mates. And even the mates are afraid to share their stories with their parents. So I'm 50. Me and my mom have a great relationship. So I don't have a problem if I'm going through something to pick up the phone and say, hey, Mom, let me run this by you. And sometimes I would have to tell my mom, hey, I'm just telling you for you to listen.
Right, I don't need all that,
Mom. You know what I mean? Because woo, Lord.
When you asked me, Archie.
Man, and then it's funny because she will add that to something that was on her mind anyway. I'm like, well, Mom, you way off topic. Well, since you want to talk, because you don't talk to me often. Mom, we talk every day. So anyway.
Your mom is still a woman, so it's like, and by the way.
That's why we're having this show today. We going to.
By the way.
I'm gonna take care of some business real quick, Larry, if you don't mind.
Cool beans.
I have on the air, Brother Stanley Ray, Alpha Phi Alpha. You on the air, brother?
Yes, I am. How are you doing, Archie?
I'm doing great, my friend. What you got for me?
Hey, nothing much, man. I'm just calling in. I'm excited about this Congressional Black Caucus event that we have. CBC is called Black Excellence.
Yes, sir.
It's going to be Thursday, September the 13th, over at Dirty Martini Lounge.
Okay.
On 1223 Connecticut Avenue.
My man. And what does it entail? What do you got? What's the platform you guys speaking on?
Oh man, the platform. This is an important year in politics.
Okay.
And so we've invited several politicians, and the following has been confirmed. Angela Alsabrook, P.T. County, the Democratic nominee.
Awesome.
We have Mandela Barnes, Democratic nominee for Lieutenant Governor in Wisconsin. Congresswoman Stacey Plaskett, delegate to the Virgin Islands. Ilhan Omar, Democratic nominee, Congressman, to Congress from Minnesota. We also have a local politician, Robert White Jr., councilman at large.
That's my Carl alumni. That's my guy.
Hey man, he's an outstanding individual,
Yes, sir.
serving the people very well. And last but not least, man, we have our general president of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated,
Awesome.
Everett Ward attending. So it's a fantastic event. This is our second year doing it. And I got to be honest, I did not expect the turnout that we're having on Eventbrite. It's over 2,000 people that's confirmed, Louis.
Outstanding. And for my listeners, give me the information once again.
Sure. It is the Omicron Lambda Alpha chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha. It's Black Excellence event.
Okay.
It's at Dirty Martini, Thursday, September the 13th, 5 p.m. until.
All right.
The address, 1223 Connecticut Avenue Northwest. It is free before 9, $20 afterwards, but you have to go to Eventbrite. And do you mind if I give that Eventbrite address?
No, do it. Go for it. Yes, sir.
All right. The Eventbrite address is OLACBC 2018 at eventbrite.com. Again, OLACBC 2018 at eventbrite.com.
Outstanding. And also, when you get off the air, inbox me that information so I can spread it about my social media so we can get the information out to the masses.
Oh, you know how we doing, Alpha. I already posted that video on your page.
My man. Hey, appreciate the call, man. I wish you guys much success, man. I got to get you guys back on my show very soon.
Yes, indeed. We're making an impact in the community, Archie.
My man.
We appreciate your support.
Thank you so much, my friend.
All right. Have a great day.
You do the same. Thank you. Awesome. Yeah, it's all about giving back, and that's what I do. We talked prior to the show. The purpose of my show is not for Archie. The purpose of my show is for everybody else, and I stand by that. I don't have a script. I just kind of fly off the cuff.
From your heart, that's just what it is.
All right. Well, we're gonna let you talk from your heart. it's easy for me to read people's bios and, you know, edify you and say the things you got going on. But I like for a person to introduce themselves, because that way the listeners can hear the sincerity and the humbleness in your journey. And people don't realize you're actually telling your journey when you actually tell people who you are.
Well, I wasn't expecting that. I should have came with some theme music like Archie did.
Yeah, that's my theme. Archie Beslow got a show, girl.
I should have came with some theme music. Well, to your audience, I appreciate them tuning in. My name is Lyric Hawkins. I am the CEO of Rockstar 360, media and personal brand development company, as well as Rockstar Prep for Kids, an early learning center where we help the youth, and we also pour into single parents as well as the homeless, because I built that platform not only to educate the children, let them know that they can be the best, they can be great. The whole Rockstar thing came about because Rockstar just means the best of the best.
Amen.
It doesn't necessarily mean the music industry. It means that you can be great at whatever it is. You know, you want to be an astronaut, be the best one.
Amen.
You want to be, you know, president, be the best one. You want to work in a factory, be the best worker in the factory.
Mm-hmm.
So be a rock star, whatever it is you want to do. Now, the 360 came about because to take it back 360 degrees, you know, full circle before you realize you couldn't do it. It's a mindset.
That's powerful.
So that's how we came up with the Rockstar 360. So it was a no-brainer when we started working with children to say, hey, Rockstar Prep for Kids.
Okay.
Because our thing is to prepare them to be great.
Okay. Well, I think I've seen your work. I've seen your heart. I've seen your passion and everything that you do. And I often say this, I can have anyone on the show, just like all the other major radio stations have people on the show. But what I do is I look for substance in people. Now, mind you, we're friends and we're cool.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I love what you do. I love the passion and everything that you do. And you are a phenomenal woman. And for you to, and you smiled in spite of.
Oh, yeah.
You feel me? And you don't, a lot of us don't realize how many lives we change, because a person like myself and like you, people oftentimes look at us and see if they can see failure, because they don't want to believe that we are who we are and who we claim to be.
Exactly.
So it's not a bad thing. Like, some people might think that's bad. So looking for you and I to fail is not a thing of they hoping that we fail. It's a thing of they hoping that we don't. So we can give them time to process their lives and say, hey, if Lyric can do it, if Archie can do it, why can't I?
Yeah, and I'm very transparent. So my thing is, and I didn't used to be.
Oh, no.
Let me say that. But I'm very transparent because I believe that you can be anything. That you could do it, because I hear people all the time, well, I'm a single parent. Yeah, I was too. Well, I don't have nowhere to live. I've been homeless 3 times.
Wow, see that?
I get it. I understand it. Or they say, you know, the father's not in the child's life, so I don't have no help. Yeah, me neither, from day one. I get it.
Amen.
So, you know, I always try to be a little transparent and tell my story, because it lets that other person know they, oh, you can get over it. You can get past it.
Well, we're going to, once again, I love my guests, because I learn so much from my guests that, once again, it inspires me to want to grow even more, because everyone's testimony, your testimony is actually your purpose in life. Your testimony can save and change so many people.
I agree.
And right, and I often tell people I don't like sharing my resume with folks, because my resume can be glamorous in someone's eyes. But what I do love sharing is my testimony, because my testimony is the real me. And you can actually take from my testimony, because you can't have my resume, because it's 2 different, you know what I mean? We 2 different individuals.
Yeah, exactly.
But your testimony,
it is what it is.
come on.
You can't even make it up.
I'm trying to
You
say.
can't. You can doctor up a resume. You can't doctor up your story.
Because it comes from your heart.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of people, when people go to church, y'all already know we ain't got into the topic yet. So, but we gonna get there, because when God moves through me, I never know what I'm gonna say. The Spirit is a very powerful tool, because when you're humble in yourself and you work so much for others, sometimes your spirit is going to supersede your actions.
I agree.
You feel me?
I agree.
And a lot of us are not living that way. A lot of us are blind to the spiritual fact.
Mm-hmm.
And they wonder why they fail so much.
They don't acknowledge.
But that's a whole nother
That's a
show.
whole
See,
nother
Lyric
show. I
don't
was
know.
trying not to-
I'm baiting her to do another show.
I'm sitting here like, I can go all day on that Holy Spirit now.
But so this is where I'm at. Like I said, I come in contact with, I go to the barber shop, and the dudes in the barber shop, we always rapping about what we rap about. And
Y'all just rap.
we
about
just
what you
rapping.
rap
It's what
about.
we feel. But I've been I'm gonna admit I've been looking at Love Is and Insecure. So these type of shows haven't, prompted me to have this show. And I know that the writers, when they write these shows, they come from a place of reality.
Yeah.
It's like things that really happen.
Mm-hmm.
So once again, my thing with TV, they have a way of convincing our younger people, or actually dictating how our younger people should act. And those shows become our younger people's Bible.
Yeah, they think that's the way to be.
All right.
But the thing is, I think the difference, our young people don't understand that that's not reality. They
Right.
don't know how to look at it as entertainment
Right.
and not the real deal.
Okay.
And so, and not only that, they see some of these people on these reality shows become famous.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're in the hip hop industry. Now they got the red bottom bloody shoes. So
So
they want that.
So here we go. I'm like Michael Phelps, the Olympic swimmer. We're gonna dive in. So a lot of young ladies or women, when you guys are talking, I know we exchange, well, not all, but some people exchange in the wholesome conversation. The BITCH word is prevalent in the conversation. And once again, I'm taking that again from these shows that come on TV,
Yeah.
where the moms and the daughters and everybody are watching it together. And mom, the daughter, we all laughing.
Right.
So aren't we not saying that it's acceptable?
To act like that because it's allowed in the household.
Come on, man.
Well, on that note, and maybe my household is a little different. My household is probably a little different. For those that don't know, I have a daughter. She's 23 now. And she's still watching SpongeBob and Bob's Burger. That's it, Bob's
Okay.
Burger, which is a cartoon. And I just always say, why do you keep watching all these, these cartoons? Why, I think it's just the way you kind of raise them.
Mm-hmm.
See, you got to remember when I was raising her, because I'm old school. So when I was raising her, all these things didn't really exist. The
Right.
reality shows and things of that nature. So they weren't really in my household. So when things like Atlanta Housewife comes along, I'm like, oh, shoot, that's my show.
Right. Got
But
you.
she was like not into it.
Right.
Because she had grown up without it.
Mm-hmm.
And then some of the things that they do, she was like, oh, my mama will whoop my tail
Right.
if I did that. So I probably instilled that. It might be a little fear,
Mm-hmm.
but my mama put it in me.
Got you.
So now we'll say the children these days, they're a little headstrong.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't always turn around because there are things with my daughter. I'm like, why did you do that?
Right.
Just why?
Why?
But her morals
Mm-hmm.
and her beliefs are solid.
So, and this is another thing too. And just so you guys know what this show is about, this show is about our women, and I'm gonna have a male show as well. Our women having healthy conversations around their daughters, and it comes from a place of, like I said, I talk to a lot of young people, and they say I do this because this is what I see. So now, as when you guys have dialogues, and we're gonna use the word beefing. So you're beefing with the young lady, your girl, your road dog, your bestie, and in a lot of cases, you take it out on your kids without even knowing
Without
about it.
knowing, yeah.
So now to have that conversation, how do you recover from that conversation without your daughter thinking like, okay, well, mom is beefing with Miss Sarah, Clara, whatever it is. They supposed to be best of buddies, but I just overheard my mom say that she did such and such behind her back, and they supposed to be best friends.
Yeah, they do pick up on that. They overhear the conversation. I learned not to make those mistakes, and with men and women, because my daughter's so overprotective. And then if she see me go back and make amends, she's like, she's still beefing.
Right.
But that's not for you. That's grown folks' conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But I had those conversations in front of her.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all she knows. So I had to learn, okay, if I'm beefing, I'm just going to have to not do it right now. I have to call you back and fuss with you,
right.
when I'm out of her presence. But the thing is, it's like you said earlier, it's like secondhand smoke.
Mm-hmm.
We don't think they're listening. I'm in a whole nother room. But, of course, I'm yelling
right.
or I'm fussing, and she overhears everything. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out who mom is talking to.
And a lot of parents, they go for a place, stay out, and and you just said it. We've came up on, our parents saying, hey, stay out of grown folks' business.
That was it.
But you can't stay out of grown folks' business if grown folks' business is magnified in your presence. And that goes from what they watch on TV, to the conversations they hear, to women bashing the dad, to women.
Ooh, that's major.
Right, and so that's what I'm saying. These unhealthy conversations that you're having around your child. So now a young lady, once again, she's being programmed to seek love from somewhere else, because the matriarch, which is mom, she's hearing mom saying all these negative things about dad.
Right.
Mom saying negative things about mom's best friend. Mom saying negative things about, I don't know, a woman that's walking
Mom
up
sound
the
like
street.
a negative person.
Well, no, that's what, right.
Yeah.
But so, and it doesn't even come from a place of, and that's a very valid point, because it sounds like a negative person, but the same person that's saying it, they're saying these things with a smile on their face.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't have any bad intentions on what they're saying. It's just that we live in a society where we're comfortable and not even realizing that we're putting people down, and what our young people are picking up on. And our young people are not mature enough to decipher
one from the other.
Right. So, and that's the purpose of the show. And we need to tell a lot of these moms, what are the do's and the don'ts around your daughters? And I know it can be generic, but women don't know.
Well, one thing I always said, though, Archie, is that when you have a baby, there's no manual.
Right.
We don't know what to do when we have these bundles of joy that come into our world. We don't know how to change a diaper. You learn how to change a diaper on the fly.
Right.
You don't know these things. So the same thing with raising these kids. And now I think the bigger issue is these mothers are now younger. The grandmothers are not really real grandmas. They're just grandma by default,
right.
Not by age. Grandmama used to be 60, 70 years old, big mama house. So now grandma is 40, and mama is 20.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So therefore, the lifestyles are just different.
And once again, we have to, so in the purpose of my show is a solution-based show. And I come up with these topics because I actually may have overheard something, or like I said, saw something on TV. And I know that TV shows and secondhand conversations are really affecting our youth, and it's affecting our families. I want to get to a place where people are actually aware of what they're talking about. Like a lot of young ladies go to these hair salons. It'd be like young girls in the hair salon. But the ladies that are doing the hairs, they're having these conversations like there are no young kids in the hair salon.
Yeah. And I was in that industry for almost 30 years. So I know exactly what goes on in that environment.
Right.
And then in that environment, you have all different type of people. You have transvestites, you have gays, and so the attitude and the flair and all that good stuff is going on. And unfortunately, the young children that do come in, they think that's cool. They think that those people have it going on, so they kind of idolize them. And I have several girlfriends that have hair salon, and they're very different. I have a girlfriend who has a Christian-based salon. Okay. Conversation is totally different. Yeah. The gospel music is playing in the background, and it's just different. Right. It's different, but she set it up that way.
Right. And a lot of people, and please call in 800-450-7876, 800-450-7876, and give me your feedback. And we're coming from a place on today's show is, are you having healthy conversations around our daughters? And, if you guys have some scenarios or some situations where you were involved in a conversation and a daughter was affected by it,
Yes.
by all means, please call in, because once again, we always say we don't know what's going on with our child or our children, but we're not taking responsibility of our
We have
actions
to.
because we're downplaying it.
Yeah, definitely have to take responsibility, because I can look back on, I call them mistakes, because I know better now, and I can see where I went wrong at. And if I could just start all over, I would. I would push the reset button, because I didn't spend enough time. I didn't have those healthy dialogues, not because I was on another side, but because I didn't have time. Time is major, because you have to invest that time in your child. I always was working. Let's get the bag, get the bag. She had everything she needed, but I was working. So where is she in the game? We're not going to the playground. We're not going to the amusement park. We're not having these conversations like, hey, mommy loves you. How was your day today?
Right.
So you're grooming them as they grow to just kind of be solo.
Right.
And so then, therefore, when they're solo, they start looking at different things.
There you go.
The reality shows, or what their girlfriends are doing, and what some little boy is looking at them, and everything he says is gold.
And the retention from, see, what happened is our young men and young ladies, they focus on getting positive information from their immediate family, like from mom, dad, the grandmother, their siblings. They're looking for guidance.
They are.
So once the guidance fall off, then they start seeking information and guidance from elsewhere. And like you said, it becomes exciting, because the person that's giving this guidance is coming from a place of, girl, your mom tripping, your dad tripping, your brother tripping.
Are your mom in that home? She at work still?
Exactly. So let me ask you this question too, and it happens. So, and my listeners can please call in and also give me feedback. What conversations do you have with your girlfriend that tells you that she can't stand her daughter because her daughter's a little bitch?
Oof.
And we get it a lot.
People talk about their daughters like that.
Come on, don't do that. Don't do that.
My crew don't do that. Maybe I need I need
Okay.
to look outside of my little circle, my little bubble, because I need to look outside of my little circle, because, but I'm sure it happens.
Like I said, I meet with kids. I meet and I mentor young men and young ladies, and
the mothers are talking.
the mother is talking to them. Okay, we're gonna stay there. The mothers are talking to the daughters a certain way, but the mothers is treating their besties totally different.
Or their man
Totally different. So once again, are we having healthy or unhealthy conversations around our daughters? And I know y'all know, as my show go on, I step it up so people get clarity on what I'm talking about. I like to start small and then get real grimy in the end, because if for some reason people don't understand anything unless it's messy, ratchet, or grimy.
You have a point. You have a point there, because I have seen where the mothers are cussing at the kids. Get over here, I'm gonna whoop your ass. I mean, in the store out loud, and I just like, ooh, Jesus.
Right.
And what do we do? As how do we help? What do we do?
What do we do?
Because if you step in
It's
some
a problem.
scenario, it's a problem. That's my kid who you talking to. One thing I can say that I do, because in my facility I do have to hire people, but sometimes I'll hire somebody that I know I can mentor.
There we go.
Somebody I know is a good person, but in a bad situation. So therefore, I'll bring them in, and they rough around the edges. And every now and then I gotta say, hey, reel them back in. Say this is not the proper way to act.
Okay.
Don't allow, your coworker to make you lose a couple of days of pay.
Right.
You gotta look at the bigger picture.
And you have to keep reiterating to that person. But once that person leaves, we all know how that goes as well. Let's take our first caller. We're gonna get right back to that. Who we have caller? Who we have on the line? Hello?
Hello?
Is Marty?
Hey, Archie?
Yeah. Hey, Mustafa. Hey, thank you for calling Archie Beslow show. What's going on, buddy?
Man, all is well.
What you got for me?
I'm calling because I have two daughters,
Okay.
and they're in their 20s.
Yes, sir.
And experience comes from mistakes, as the young lady mentioned when she was young.
my daughters, I speak to them and let them know how I used to be.
Okay.
And that's how all of these young kids, these boys and things that they're running into these days, they are.
Right.
The wisdom and the things that we did that God let us get through, it was for us to be able to still on to our kids.
Yes, sir.
It's hard for us as adults to be taken serious when we on social media as much as the kids are. Telling the kids, don't do this, this is vanity, that's vanity, but you're taking pictures of your food, but that's that food before you took a picture of it. Simple things like that. I tell my daughter, it is nothing that any young man or any young girl can say to you that you can't come and get the information from me, because I'll be honest with them. I tell them, your dad used to be a dirtbag.
Amen.
Now, see, I can call myself a dirtbag because I used to be.
Amen.
So if you got something to hide, you can't put these. If you're still doing little things, you're not going to bring these the honest and truth about my daughters. I tell my daughters, you have to do better for yourself.
That's it.
People only do what you let them do.
Yep.
When they dealing with these young men and they come home and they upset and they crying and they try to hide the guy from me, I tell them, I'm not mad at the guy. He's only doing what you let him do.
There we go.
Because see, I was a young guy before.
That's adults too, Mustafa. That's adults as well.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
And the kids and the young ladies they're watching that.
They're watching.
And I want you to stay on the line. I want you to stay on this dialogue, Mustafa, because you had a very, very valid point. The Facebook thing, and you said it. Just like you got a lot of women that are taking selfies of themselves and in inappropriate clothing. And sometimes they're taking it in appropriate clothing, but it's super sexy. And everybody has access to Facebook.
Yep.
So you feel me? So it's been a many times when somebody that came to me and said, man, you know, such and such mom, did you see what his mom had on?
Was mom hot though?
Mom was pretty hot.
Mom was hot though.
But the point is, but Mustafa, you hit that on the head.
Yeah.
We're telling our kids,
don't do this.
Don't do this.
Don't do
but
that.
we're doing it more, and we got to get past this thing of I'm doing it because I'm grown. We're doing a lot of wrong things as grown-ups. Financially, relationships-wise, work-wise, we're doing a lot of wrong things as
Do
grown-ups.
as I say, not as I do.
Go ahead.
But the thing is, Archie, is because, see, the word grown, people do not understand it. See, God made male and female. He didn't make woman and man. See, a girl is a female and a boy is a female. If you don't learn to be a woman or you don't learn to be a man, you're going to be a grown girl. You're going to be a grown boy. There's a lot of boys disguised as men these days.
Okay.
And people don't realize it. And I wouldn't realize it if it wasn't for the grace of God.
Amen.
Point blank period. I got to put them on display.
Always. Always.
And that's the whole thing. Because we 50 and 60 now, we think we grown. But see, Archie, when a baby is born and he's in a pamper and he got a pacifier or a bottle, and you look at him at that stage, he's so cute. Well, if you come back 15 years, and he's in a pamper and he got a bottle and he got a pacifier, something's wrong with him. So we don't understand the stages of our mentality that's supposed to grow as we grow. So I try to tell my daughter, you got to do better for yourself.
Amen.
You got to do better for yourself. I love you, but you're going to go through it.
Yeah.
But see, that's why I call going through it. Because if you're going through it, you're going to come out of it sooner or later.
Amen. All right, man. Hey.
I agree.
Hey, go ahead, man. Go ahead, get up off these airways, man.
Yeah, so, but it's good, man. I'm listening, man. And it's a blessing, man. And God bless your show, bro.
I love you. I love you, Mustafa. Thank you.
Love you too, Archie.
My man.
Bro.
All right. So that's what and for my listeners, and like I tell my Facebook people, it's cool to sit here and be entertained by myself and Miss Lyric and watching Facebook. But at the end of the day, I'd rather for you to cut your Facebook live or pick up the phone and call in and help somebody else. Because we all have been around a young lady that has been broken by her own mom.
Yeah.
And mind you, this is I'm gonna talk about the dads. I'm gonna do another show. It's coming. But right now we're focusing on one component because that's what's wrong with us now in society. We try to focus on so much at one time instead of actually getting to the root of our problem.
Archie, do you think that they don't know any better because their mother didn't, lay any foundational rules and guidelines?
And stick with me on this.
Like it's generational?
But stick with me on this one. Stick with me, and I get it all the time. We all know right from wrong.
This is true.
Excuses is what's making our society get so far behind because that's always been our go-to.
Yeah. You had a point there.
We have to get away. We have to get away from our go-to, and we have to get like 5 or 6 people like Mustafa calling in and sharing their story, so that maybe someone can pick up off of that person's story and do something different to leave the excuses behind.
Right. And I think also that the kids glamorize this whole, rapper, NBA, the bling, the popping bottles and things of that nature. We don't glorify, going to get a college degree.
But no. Oh, my girl, that's a whole nother show, but go ahead with it. Because I would dive in on that academic piece.
Yeah, we don't glorify that.
Man,
that ain't cool.
I say it all the time. And we gonna get right back in. Y'all already know how it go. That's Lyric fault. I'll see a basketball gymnasium packed. A spelling bee.
Ain't none of us.
A science project. Come on,
the science fair be like crickets.
But they ain't even going. They not even going to the school where the kid got detention.
The PTA meetings.
That's a whole nother.
So we don't glorify that. But if little Tay got a game,
what? Whoa.
AAU.
Whoa. Little Tay got a game at AAU. You mad at the coach because the coach got his report card and said 1.9, and you asking for why? And you mad at the coach asking why he can't play?
Yeah.
So
priorities.
Come on, and that's going back to what the conversation is about. Our young ladies are in situations that they're in because they're actually watching to get the proper information to be dynamic women, to be phenomenal women. And once again,
I agree.
And we're not putting our young ladies in front of publications, in front of shows, take them to events where they can actually learn from inspiring other women. Mm-hmm. Whether the mom liked the scenario or not, don't cheat your child because you don't want to grow. And that's what it is. It becomes a competition. The mom and daughter relationships become a competition at a certain point, and it shouldn't be. And if I'm not speaking to you, by all means, don't receive it. But if I'm speaking to you, hey, receive it, because that's the problem. A lot of people hide behind the truth because people don't want to be called out. And I'm not calling somebody out because I'm trying to despise them.
No,
I'm calling people out because I want to help.
Yeah. I don't know. And it's just hard because everybody doesn't have a me or have a you in their world. Right. And it's like, where do they turn? Where's that person that checks them? I had people come in for an interview, young girls. And I had one girl, and she works with me now. She's 23 years old. Mm-hmm. She came to the interview. Mom hooked it up. So I said, all right, whatever. She come to the interview, and she has this big old bag of clothes because she's going to stay somewhere afterwards. She's just bouncing from house to house. Mm-hmm. And her certificates and things she had to present to me was all wrinkled up, juice spilled on them. Mm-hmm. And I said, look, I interviewed her, went through everything, and I took the papers. I made copies. Mm-hmm. I got a folder, and I put it in there. I said, look, next time you go on an interview, you give them this set of papers. Okay? Because you cannot go into an interview and think you're going to get a job unprepared like this. Right. Halfway in. And don't come in here with a bag of clothes no more. But I was going to stay on somebody. I had to catch the bus. Don't do it. Mm-hmm.
So when women talk amongst each other, are we coming from a place of, I don't use the word bragging, teaching other females in your circle how your child is successful or how your child is not successful. I don't, and just, I'm on the outside looking at it, I don't think that our conversations, whether it be men conversations with men or women conversations, that we don't have leading conversations about our kids trying to help someone else. I think our conversations come from us wanting to be comfortable within a conversation, to continue a conversation. It's almost like we're afraid to have conversations that we don't think is going to linger on because it's not messy, it's not ratchet, it's not glorifying, it's not exciting.
Right. Well, in my circle with my girlfriends, we do talk about the children. You know, because sometimes we're like, hey, we need a little help. Mine done lost her mind today.
There we go.
You know, like, so she did this. What do you think? Because maybe I'm, you know, too off the hook. Maybe I'm fussing over something that's not that large. What do you think?
Right.
And like, you got to have somebody to kind of help chin check you, because these children these days, you know, even the ones that are, you know, decent, not pregnant and drinking and partying, they still got issues too.
They got their issues.
They got issues too.
And they kind of harbor their issues within. I have this thing called the pit. I often try to find a way to get to a child's the pit of a young man or a young lady, because the kids hide so much in their pit.
They do.
And in real talk, if we don't have healthy, wholesome conversations with our kids, we're going to pay for it at some point down the road.
Yeah, we are.
But if we have wholesome, healthy conversations with our kids in a lot of cases are going to help us with our problems, because we're coming from a place of thinking that we have to do so much in order to make them right, but we're actually missing what we need to do to make them right. And guess who's the only person to know how we can make them right?
Yeah.
Is the kids.
And you're right. And the sad part about it, you have to start with that so young. If you miss that stage, they get to a point, that preteen, that middle school is vicious.
Right.
That stage right there, at that point, you kind of lost them. They ain't even listening to you no more.
The exposure is...
They're just not listening to you.
The conversations. So, what do you think about this? And I'm trying to stay on task with it. And what I'm trying to get to is, in this day and time, is there a lot of competition amongst women? So what you consider a good group of girlfriends where you guys, is it three of y'all are tight, 4 of y'all are tight, 5 are tight? What?
No, I think 3 is a good number.
3 is a good number.
To be in your business.
To be in your
business.
And we're talking.
Now,
okay.
we're going to Cancun or we're hitting Aruba, then it might be 10. But
Gotcha.
all 10 ain't talking to me.
Right.
You know, all 10 don't know my business.
Right.
Because you got to pick and choose who you want in your circle to assist you with things and to chin check you when you're doing things wrong.
Now, do you guys check that female that's coming from a place of messiness, that's messy out the gate? How do y'all deal with a messy lady in your circle?
Well, I've had, my circle's so daggone small, so I haven't had too many experiences and probably because I'm not saying it's right, I'm the one that says, oh, you're the messy one, okay. And I'll turn my back and you'll be like, dang, where'd Larry go?
It's needed.
I done left.
But it's needed.
It is probably needed. I'm just like, I don't like mess, so I just turn my back and kind of walk away because they're grown, but you don't even realize that they might need help.
So right there, so
They
once
might need help.
again, so that is a healthy conversation to have with the daughter. I off the break know that moms are not saying, hey, once you identify a messy female, do X, Y, Z. And this is me speculating.
Yeah.
What I do see is Tanya is so messy. She did X, Y. Do you know she such and such and such and such
The gossiping.
to the daughter?
Oh, to the daughter. Yeah. That's not for her.
But it's being done. Because at the point, you done called the girlfriend to try to have a conversation with her. She ain't answered the phone. She on a date. So the only person you got left is the daughter. Because we come from a place of wanting to get that off. we want somebody to hear it while we
And
still
that's
got
and
it.
that's who's around at
That's
the
who's
time.
around.
And that's not your good girlfriend. That's your child.
Don't even understand where to go with the conversation. But she's listening, so now she's trying to decipher from herself, how should I be taking this conversation?
Right, because that's Aunt Cheryl. Because, you know,
Come on, man.
because that's Aunt Cheryl. Because it's like your mother's girlfriends are your aunties.
Exactly.
You know?
Right.
So, hey, Mom, you said that about
You
Aunt
said-
Cheryl?
Come
Y'all
on.
been friends for a long time.
Boom. Now we cooking. We got, let me see what we got here. All right, go ahead, Carly on the line.
How you doing, man?
Hey, what's up, Kevin? I
Where
got a
the
lot to do.
women at? Right, where the
because
women
they
at?
in denial.
Where all the
That's why we
ladies
got
at?
the show. They don't. Now they gonna talk about it amongst each other when the show is over. They gonna be on the phone talking to each other.
They said they're gonna post talking about us.
Exactly. And look,
I believe they say.
all I'm trying to do is help.
I don't believe those men
I ain't
said
coming
all
from
that.
nowhere. Ain't nothing I said nothing. What's up, brother Kevin? What you got for my listeners?
Man, I talk to my daughter all day,
My man.
every day. Every chance I get, I try to be the example. I'm not ashamed of my past. To
Right.
be honest, the route I was going, I shouldn't be here, but God saved me. So not only do I help my daughter, I talk to any young lady, any young boy, man, any grown man who didn't get it.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
Amen.
And a lot of it, like they say about the village, that's still so true.
That's
and there's
real.
so much out there about the negative side of what our kids are doing. There's a lot of positive, because I've run into a few kids who talk to other kids, but the media is not putting that out there. That's why I love this show.
Thank you for that. And the thing about it, and once again, we oftentimes talk about the village. I think we understand what the village means.
These new people
But
don't
the
know
new
what
people
the
don't-
village-
they don't know what the
where
village means.
is. What is the village?
What does it mean?
Where is that at?
And it comes from, and even the older people.
You do better. And a lot of times, these kids or people in general don't know better. And
Right.
then they say more is taught than taught, like you all were talking about earlier, where there may be, we refer to as ear hustling. They sitting over there hearing what we're saying.
Right.
But more is taught than taught. So a lot of the negative that they're doing is basically their four walls, like the videos, the music, their neighborhood, or that negative hip hop culture.
So both of y'all, I want,
Opposed to- mhm.
but both of y'all, Lyric. So when we were coming up, we went to those house parties with our family. Everything was family based and family oriented. And there was so much discussion, all types of discussion. You know, we had aunts and uncles that was drinking, smoking the cigarettes, partying, dancing. They cussing each other out.
Blue lights in the basement.
Right, you don't know if it was a fight, if they was about to rumble for real. Or then they was like, oh, no, that's Aunt Sarah and Uncle Bob.
They
That's what
always
they
like
do.
that. Yeah, they always
You
like
know,
that.
so we were able to come up through that society knowing the difference of right and wrong. And I'm a firm believer, Kevin, that we all know the difference between right and wrong, but we just choose to do what we want to do at that moment, not thinking about the consequences.
Yes.
Exactly. And in many times, some of the choices that some of us make are to impress somebody.
Right. Which goes back to the story, the show.
Yeah.
Are the women having healthy conversations around our little girls?
Yeah, I think it's the younger ones. As a matter of fact, one of our Facebook viewers, as a matter of fact, Dawn said, I think a major problem too, parents tend to cut them off at 18, and that's when they need them the most. They don't know how to, quote unquote, adult. You have to give them the freedom, but teach them along the way, starting at about 13-ish.
Yep.
Because we're like, oh, you grown now, you don't need us.
Because we get tired.
Oh,
We get
we
impatient.
tired.
We get.
I've been tired though.
I'm still
I've
tired.
come across a few young ladies who had that mother,
Mm-hmm.
and they would receive the same thing from another individual. That same thing
Yes.
that mother saying, even if the delivery is right.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they even have to go through what they're being taught not to do in order to appreciate that mom.
Right. So I'm gonna ask you both.
Mhm.
What do we say to that young lady who can't talk to her mom because she don't like how her mom dressing, she don't like the conversation her mom having, she don't like the person her mom is dating, she just don't like her mom's action. She love her mom, but she don't like her mom's action, and her mom is not listening to her. And I'm asking you guys this question because I have a lot of young listeners on my show, and they seek answers from us. So what does that young lady say to her mom?
You know what? Let me tell you from personal experience. I just went through this yesterday.
Okay.
My daughter sat me down
There we go.
yesterday, and we had a real conversation, and I just had to listen.
There we go.
Because she said she never comes to me because I'm too judgmental. She said, I don't come to you because you just going to come at me. Because I'm a straight shooter. I don't sugarcoat nothing, and I'm just straight. It's either right or left. We don't waver in the middle. You know, and I'm not that mom, oh, well, maybe. No, that's not the right person for you.
Right.
So, but I didn't realize that all these years, these decades of me speaking in that tone and in that manner was not the best thing.
For her.
Because I'm not going to get sympathy from my mom.
Right.
Because I done made this wrong decision, or I want to do something that might not be quite right.
And scared to talk to you.
Right, so therefore, she has turned to, or did turn to any gentleman, and not multiple gentlemen, but she got into a relationship where it was physical abuse, but she couldn't tell me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I'm learning all of this, and of course I'm hurt, I'm crushed because I do love my child,
Right.
but my strong, and I guess a lot of it too because I was mama and daddy. So I had to be like, look, we ain't going to the right, it's to the left. Just don't go there. Not no reason of why, or baby, don't do that because I really want to see you succeed. Maybe you should try this. Like, I didn't talk like that. And so it all hit the fan just last night. So I said, oh, what a show.
What a show. And see what I'm saying? See how God works?
Yeah.
And it's funny because we're answering the questions that I was trying to get answered. Our young, and we're going to add the young men. Our young people are actually
They want it.
they want it from that direct parent, that mom or dad if they're living, or that grandmom or that granddad living,
want
or
it.
their sibling.
They just can't get it.
They just can't get it.
I admire you for the point you just made when you listen to your daughter instead
Amen.
of mothering her.
Amen.
Because, like my daughter, everybody, she just left here, came home. She just went to college in August, came home for the weekend. Just went back. That's why I couldn't call her earlier. But we talked so much, and her mother and I delivered differently. And I had to explain to her why her mother is the way she is when she's not overbearing, mean, or anything like that.
It's
but
the delivery.
It's a delivery, and what we all had to come to an understanding is we have to respect their feelings. We have to respect them as people. Listen to them, because a lot of parents want to just parent. We're all ever evolving. So I've learned some things from my son. My son's 25, my daughter's 18. I have learned things about parenting from my children.
I say it all the time, Kevin. I say it all the
You have to listen
time.
to them.
Because
and know them. Then they can come to you. They'll trust you.
I
They'll
agree.
feel comfortable talking to you as opposed to feeling getting beat. I told my son, Justin, if it's because your pinky nail is cut too close and it's hurting, and it's causing you some emotion, and you feeling some kind of way, I don't care. That's just a blown up analogy. But no matter how sensitive it is, talk to me about it. I'm not gonna shoot you down. I'm not gonna. And I say the same thing to Morgan. I'm not going to shoot you down about how you feel. I have to respect how you feel about even the decisions that I make for them.
Hey Kevin, I appreciate you, man. Let me get these couple other calls before the show end, man. I love you like a brother, man, and I thank you for the support, fam.
Keep up the good work. Be blessed.
My man, you too.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right. Janae. Hello, we have Janae on the line.
Hey, big bro.
Hey, what's up, sis? What's good?
Okay. I just wanted to call for a brief minute because, I have a lot to say.
Amen.
Talk about. I definitely am listening to Miss Lyric, dropping gems. A couple of points I want to make, and I'll get out your way. Is the first one, I heard you guys discussing society, and I know, I have an 8-year-old little girl, Mia, and the first thing I taught her, because we are, our kids are brought up now in more of a technological age, and social media is, in a sense, running everything. So I talked to her knowing that that's what she is around and that's what she's kind of brought up in with society. I've been letting her know that she could talk. That's not real.
Right.
Like the things, and I do hip hop, I do music, I'm a, entrepreneur in music, but I let her know movies, all of that stuff, IG, Facebook, it's not real.
Okay.
So I think it's very important to have kids, because they're going to grow up in this, environment, to let them know that, there's reality, and then there's illusions, basically.
Gotcha. Yeah.
That's one thing I always talk to her about, like, it's not always a bad thing, but I say in her ear about it, like, that's not real. This is real. Okay. And then as far as talking to her, I just feel like you just have to have those, and I posted it, uncomfortable conversations.
Yes.
I've been telling Mia about predators since she was 4 or 5 years old. I've been telling her about fake people, and just honestly not wanting to, she does not need to be like anyone else, and that to be happy with who God made her to be, because we're all unique in how he made us. Okay. And just having these conversations with her and pulling the information out of her, because like I tell her, and she'll tell you, Mommy's not my friend.
There you go.
That's my mom, but she knows I adore her and I love her. But my main job is to protect her and to nurture her and to educate her. Right. So I'll be your friend later. We have time for that. But right now, I need you to understand there's so much these kids are up against. And as far as being the village, one thing I do is when she has sleepovers or friends over, I talk to them. I respect how the other kids are raised. I try not to step on any parents' toes, but especially little girls, I talk to them like these kids, like I talk to her.
It all boils down to the talking.
And Jeanette, I got 2 minutes left from the show.
Okay, I'm going.
Yeah. Hey, but I love what you say. I don't mean, and I don't mean to cut you off.
No, that's all I wanted to say. I'm done.
Yeah, but no, that's very valid, and I appreciate you are doing a phenomenal job with my little niece and her talents and everything that she's doing.
No problem. You just keep on the good fight, bro. And you too, Miss Lyric. I'll talk to y'all later.
Thank
you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
I think this all boils down to the communication, because I'm trying to tell you, I've been through it, and it's how you talk to your child. It's how you talk to your child. My daughter was little elementary school, calling, Mommy, somebody messing with me. Right. I go up to the school, and they're on the playground, and I go, and I said, who is it? Right. She pointed at the little boy up. I said, him?
Right.
He called her fat. I said, him? I said, he fat.
Right.
His nose running. Look at the snot going. Right. You worried about that? She was like, yeah, you right. We ain't even had no conversation. It's like, come on now. And that's not healthy.
All right. Hey.
How do we deal with these?
Well, unfortunately,
right.
Miss Lyric, thank you for being such a phenomenal guest on my show.
And the party over?
The party over, man.
Oh, my goodness.
And I'm going to have you back on real soon. Unhealthy conversations around our daughters, unhealthy conversations around our sons, unhealthy conversations around each other is just not the way to go. We all know right from wrong. We have to start leaning on more to the right side than the wrong side. And stop using excuses to be wrong when you know that you're wrong. And always remember this. Yeah. When you're wrong, you're affecting someone that's trying to be right.
Own it.
Own it. All right. I love the ladies. Y'all doing a great job with y'all daughters. But hey, y'all know how Archie go. Trust me, the men ain't out of the woods. I'm going to get at them soon. All right. Love y'all. Thank you once again for tuning into my show, the Archie Beslow Show. Let's figure it out. God loves you, and so do I. I'll see you guys next week.
I know, right? You like Archie.
Thank you, guys.